Do you want flawless, natural looking skin but find yourself struggling with cakey, heavy looking foundation, fighting with your skin texture, and honestly having your makeup just not wear well throughout the day? If so, you've come to the right place. I'm a professional makeup artist and I'm going to be sharing with you my top 10 hacks for the most flawless, natural looking base. Whenever I use these makeup tips and tricks, I get the most compliments on my skin, so I'm really excited to just share my secrets with you today. Really quick, before anyone asks, yes, I'm wearing colored contacts. I'm going to link the exact ones that I use down below. They're super natural looking in person and they're really comfortable, so if you want to know where I got them, just check the description. But now let's get into the good stuff. Hack number 1, the Cakey Skin Fixer. Okay, let's talk about cakey foundation. We've all been there. Your skin feels dry, makeup just sits on top, and no matter how much you blend, it does not look smooth. This is where my number 1 hack comes in. I call this one the Cakey Skin Fixer. This part of the video is in partnership with Dalba, but you guys know I'm so picky. I really only work with brands that I actually use and love, and this spray serum has been such a game changer for me. To finish my skincare routine, I always like to finish with the Dalba First Spray Serum. It's a serum, but it's in spray form, so you're getting all the hydration and skin-loving ingredients of a serum, but it's lightweight and it absorbs instantly, leaving your skin with a visible glow. This also preps your skin, so all the makeup we apply after this step layers better, and your foundation will actually melt in instead of clinging to dry patches or looking cakey. This is packed with white truffles and vitamin E to make their patented ingredient truffrol. White truffles are like a skin superfood that is packed with anti-aging and antioxidant benefits. It also has their 4 plant-derived oil, including avocado oil, as well as other ingredients like niacinamide and hyaluronic acid. This is going to leave your skin feeling nourished and glowy, but not greasy. If you have sensitive skin or reactive skin, I can also vouch for this product. My husband, he has the most sensitive skin, honestly, that I've ever seen in my life, but he swears by this stuff. Honestly, this is skincare and primer all in one, and the best part for me is it only takes 5 seconds, 1 quick mist, and you have fixed one of the biggest makeup struggles before it even starts. Hack number 2, the 10-minute rule. So many people rush into their makeup while their skincare is still wet, and that is one of the biggest reasons why you see your foundation pilling or bunching up on your skin. Honestly, this can also reduce the wear time of your foundation and cause your foundation to kind of slip around too much. By waiting just 10 minutes for your skincare to sink in, your makeup's gonna apply smoother, it's gonna last longer, and you're not gonna waste your time fighting texture when you're applying your base. If you use a lot of skincare, this hack really is a game changer. You're letting your skincare do its job. Patience really is key here. I just finished my skincare routine with that spray serum, so I'm gonna wait 10 minutes and I will be right back. Hack number 3, the secret to soft dimension. For those of you who have a hard time with bronzer and contour and just overall applying your makeup a little bit too heavy, this hack is for you. Instead of applying your contour or bronzer on top of your foundation, try applying it underneath. For this step, I'm using the Juvia's Place Cream Bronzer in the shade Buttercream. I'm applying this mostly around the perimeters of my face. I'm enhancing my cheekbones with this. I'm applying this on my forehead and a little bit around my nose and jaw area. Blending your contour or bronzer under your base will soften it so that it looks like a natural shadow instead of a stripe, in case you struggle with the horrible look of a stripe across your face when you apply bronzer. This is perfect if you want subtle dimension without that obvious makeup-y look. Underpainting really gives that your skin but better vibe. This is so good for everyday makeup, or if you love a no makeup look that still has structure. Hack number 4 is the sticky trick. This little trick can apply to your foundation or your concealer if you struggle with either of those adhering to your skin. For a lot of people, foundation and concealer doesn't really adhere very well around the mouth or even around the nose area, or even worse, when you have blemishes and your concealer will not stick to the blemish. This trick is exactly what you need. This might sound counterintuitive, but I'm actually going to powder before concealer, and I don't usually use this for areas like my under eyes or anything like that. I really only use this on those stubborn areas. So for me right now, my nose is having a little bit of a breakout and makeup isn't sticking very well to it. So I'm gonna go in with my Say Slip Tint Undetectable Baked Setting Powder in the shade Translucent. And I'm just gonna use a brush to pick up a very small amount of this powder. Setting a thin layer of powder first gives concealer something to grab onto. Usually if your base products aren't sticking, it's because those areas get oily really fast or your skin texture is uneven. And then suddenly your concealer will stay put instead of sliding around. I'm just using the NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer in a pot to cover these little blemishes around my nose. This trick is really incredible for acne prone skin, or if you have very oily skin and you find your makeup just doesn't stick very well, try this. I guarantee you it's gonna make a huge difference. Hack number 5, the glow mix. In my opinion, sometimes foundation is just too much, too matte, too heavy, too obvious. Especially if you like a more natural effect like me, shearing out a foundation with a hydrating toner or a milky serum really just shears out that foundation in a beautiful way, giving it more of a glowy, like skin tint type of finish. I'm going to use my Fenty Beauty Soft Lit Foundation. And I'm just gonna put 1 pump of this on the back of my hand. This foundation isn't very heavy. I actually like this foundation, but I do wanna shear it out just a little bit because this actually gives pretty good coverage. And I wanna go for more of a natural vibe today. So I'm going in with the Iliet Base Face Milk and just putting a couple of drops of that into the foundation, maybe like 3 drops. And I'm just gonna mix that really well on the back of my hand. This is really great if you have dry skin or if you just want to use your foundation in multiple different ways, like if you want it heavier for events or if you want it sheerer during the daytime, you can just use this with your one foundation. The Rhode Glazing Milk also is great for this step. I'm gonna show you how I apply this, but that leads me into hack number 6, the no streak method. Applying the foundation directly from the bottle onto your face, or even sometimes like straight from a brush to your face if you don't prep the brush, it can give you a really streaky finish, and it's not very beginner friendly. Applying foundation in thick blobs makes it way harder to blend, and it gives you that thick, obvious finish that I personally am not a big fan of. Instead, I like to apply my foundation in a thin layer. This can be done with your fingers, so by just spreading it in a nice, even, thin layer. Just like this, you can see I'm not going in with a ton of product, I'm just going in with a nice thin amount. Or you can go in with a brush. This is a really nice flat brush by Morphe, I will link it down below. And you can just do the exact same thing. I don't notice a huge difference between these two methods, but whatever you prefer works fine. This is really gonna help your foundation look like skin. And then once you've done that, you can go in with your foundation brush and just buff the foundation into your skin. You're gonna notice a lot less streaking. It's gonna give you a more natural finish. And you're not gonna have to spend so much time blending your foundation out either. And you can immediately tell how much more natural that foundation looks. You have that pretty glow. You can see the definition that we added underneath peeking through. It's just the prettiest kind of no makeup finish. Hack number 7 is the Crease-Proof Concealer method. Do you wanna know the secret to long-lasting Crease-Proof concealer? Let it sit. I'm gonna go in with the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Concealer. I like to apply this under my eyes. And you really don't need to apply a ton, just a nice thin even layer is kind of always my go-to method. A little bit around the chin and mouth where I tend to get red, and maybe just a touch on my forehead, just the tiniest little amount. By waiting even just a minute before blending out that concealer, it allows the formula to thicken and really grip better to the skin. If you wanted to, you could do a little baby blend before doing a full blend, so you could just kind of spread that concealer out, not blend it all the way, but just kind of spread it to the areas where you want it to end up, but not blending it all the way. Like I said, just kind of like a pre-blend. Okay, so I've roughly just blended that concealer out. As you can see, it's not completely smooth. I'm gonna wait 1 minute and then I will be right back to show you how I blend this out. Okay, so it's actually been a couple minutes. You don't need to wait a super long time, but you can give it a couple minutes. The concealer has set down. I'm just gonna go ahead and blend that concealer in just by pressing that into my skin. This hack is especially a lifesaver for dark circles, especially if you've struggled with concealer fading or creasing throughout the day. I really do feel like this technique increases the wear time of concealer and makes it look a lot less heavy and creasy. And that concealer is blending out so nicely. It doesn't look heavy at all, and it's not creasing up or bunching up on me anywhere, which is so nice. It's my pet peeve when concealer looks like gummy and heavy. If you want a little bit more, let's move on to hack number 8, the double cover trick. This hack has become a lot more popular recently. Hailey Bieber used this in her Vogue kind of beauty routine, which I've been thinking about recreating. Let me know if you guys want to see that. Give this video a thumbs up or leave a comment down below if you do. I'm talking about putting color corrector over top of concealer. Most people put color corrector under concealer, but layering a second shade on top works even better sometimes. I try to stay away from the crazy, like intimidating red or orange color correctors for me personally, and I'm going with something a little bit more closer to my skin color. This is the Kosas Revealer Extra Bright Color Corrector in the shade Magic. As you can see, this is a lot closer to my skin tone. This has a pinky undertone. You can even use one with a yellowy undertone if you prefer, but I'm gonna use this one today. As you already saw, I applied my concealer under my eyes. That is slightly closer to the color of my skin, but I'm just going over that with this brightening color corrector to cancel out any darkness or redness. This double layer method gives a natural, even look without piling on tons of product. So this is perfect for under the eyes, pigmentation, or even like redness that shows through foundation. Just something to keep in mind, a little bit goes a long way, so don't overdo it. And you can see the immediate results. My skin just looks a lot more brighter and more awake without looking like too much. You can't really see the color corrector. Sometimes color correctors are just a little bit too much, and then you have to cover them up, and it kind of defeats the purpose. So I really like this hack. It just makes color correcting a lot easier. Hack number 9 is the glow from within trick. I actually recently learned this from Nikki LaRose here on YouTube. If you haven't seen her videos, they're amazing. You should go check her out. If you love glow, but you hate the look of like sparkly, glittery highlighters, this trick is for you. Before blush, I'm actually gonna go in with a powder highlighter. I'm gonna use the Dior Backstage Glow Face Palette in the shade Universal. And I'm just gonna be picking up these 2 shades here. I'm mixing them together. I'm not gonna go too crazy with this, but I'm just gonna apply this so that I get a nice glow to the cheek. And actually, by going in with powder highlight underneath blush, this is actually going to make your blush wear longer throughout the day. So this is kind of a 2-in-1 hack. This is kind of similar to hack number 4, where we powdered our nose before going in with concealer, but this works pretty similarly, giving the cream blush we're gonna apply on top something to adhere to. All right, so that is the glow that we're working with. If you like glowy products, you might just wanna leave it like this, but I'm gonna go in with some blush now. I'm going to be using the Makeup by Mario Soft Pop Blush Stick in the shade Dusty Rose. And I'm actually just applying this product to the back of my hand first to warm it up. This color is so pretty, oh, I love it. And then using my Makeup by Mario F4 brush, I'm just gonna pick that up and I'm gonna start bouncing that right on top of where we applied that shimmer. This is gonna diffuse that shimmer a little bit. It's gonna make us look like we're glowing from within instead of having like a powder highlighter sitting on top of our skin. This subtle little trick really helps you to look naturally radiant instead of just over highlighted. You know, that blinding kind of streak of highlighter on the face? It's not really my thing. So I really enjoy this hack when I do want a little bit of extra glow, but not too much. How pretty is this combination? Oh, this blush color is absolutely gorgeous. And on top of that Dior Glow, which I will say is more of a natural, pearlescent, glowing from within kind of highlighter. So if you do want a highlighter that is just more for the natural, no makeup, everyday kind of vibe, this one's really good. But together, I just think this is an elite combo. And finally, for hack number 10, this is the soft set rule. Over powdering is one of the fastest ways to look cakey, unfortunately, and a lot of people just don't understand this. I actually typically like to use 2 different powders, one that's more brightening for under the eyes, and then one that's more in line with my skin tone for the rest of my face. I'm gonna start with the Huda Beauty Easy Bake powder in the shade Cupcake. This one is definitely a little bit more of a brightening shade. I have barely any powder in here. I'm gonna take my brush and just coat it in powder and really make sure to tap it off very well. Less powder is actually going to equal less creasing in most cases. So I'm just softly tapping that powder right on top of where we applied that concealer and color corrector. Don't get me wrong, I love a good baking moment with a powder puff and all that jazz, but it does give the under eyes a little bit of a heavier look, and I'm kind of just focusing more on a natural, no makeup finish that is effective. Especially if you have dry or mature skin under the eyes, you really want to use less powder instead of more. And then for the rest of my face, I'm going right back in with that Say powder I used earlier. Applying 2 different tones of powder is actually going to give your face more natural structure and definition, while also preserving the steps you did beforehand, like the brightening concealer under the eyes, for example. All your hard work leading up to this won't be for nothing. Let's say you did go in with a little too much powder though, your makeup's looking a little heavy, a little cakey, a little too makeup-y. Don't worry, you can actually go in with that same D'Alba spray serum that we used earlier. I'm just gonna spritz a really light layer of this on top of all the makeup and powder we applied. This is gonna restore that natural skin-like glow to our skin and just really melt everything together, so settle those powders into the creams, giving everything a very cohesive look. In person, you honestly can't even really tell that I'm wearing all this makeup. The skin looks so natural and effortless and glowy and just beautiful. If you want more tips and tricks and makeup hacks and stuff like that, make sure to give this video a thumbs up so I know that you like it so that I can make more. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to my channel. It only takes 2 seconds and it helps me out so much. If you haven't checked out my other makeup hacks video, it's on the screen right now. It is so good, has so many helpful tips and tricks. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.